They told you that reality was fixed, heavy, and blind, that life was a stage of chance, and that you were a powerless actor. But Atlantis remembered differently. The Atlantean priests, the guardians of sacred codes, spoke of a crystal mirror that surrounds existence, a mirror woven of frequency, vibration, and light, a mirror alive, conscious, reflecting not what you say, but the hidden fire of your soul's awakening. This mirror is not distant, it is here, now. Every thought becomes a signal in the crystalline field, and the field reflects it back with perfect precision. That is why you are here, because the mirror has already answered your call. Because the synchronicities that guided you to this moment are the Atlantean codes of remembrance awakening within. You did not stumble here by accident. Your light body, your ancient memory, summoned this reflection through the law of Atlantis. The question is not whether the mirror responds. It always does. The question is, are you ready to see yourself reflected in the crystalline truth of your own soul? Activation. Write in the comments, I awaken the crystal mirror of Atlantis. I remember my soul's code. Every word you write is a frequency. Every comment is a signal polishing the mirror of collective awakening. Chapter 1. The Atlantean Law of Reflection. Expanded with activation. In the temples of Atlantis, beneath vaults of crystal and walls engraved with sacred geometry, the high priests whispered a truth older than memory itself. They called it the Atlantean Law of Reflection. They knew the universe was not a stage of chaos, but a living mirror of consciousness, an ocean of vibration and frequency that responds instantly to the fire hidden inside your soul's awakening. The Atlanteans taught, reality does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Every thought is a command, every emotion is a signal, every hidden belief is a code written in the crystalline fabric of the world. And the mirror of Atlantis has no preference, no judgment. It does not separate shadow from light. It only multiplies what you carry. If your heart vibrates in fear, the mirror returns storms. If your soul burns with remembrance, the mirror opens synchronicities. If your light body pulses with love, the mirror becomes creation itself. This law was guarded because it is both dangerous and divine. Dangerous for those who live in unconscious vibration, but divine for the ones who awaken to their true frequency. It is not the outside world shaping you. It is your inner world carving reality in silence. This is the code Atlantis left behind. The mirror of the soul, crystal clear, eternal, unbreakable. Activation. Write in the comments, I live by the Atlantean Law of Reflection. I awakened the crystal code. Each comment is not just a sentence, it is a vibration etched into the mirror of collective remembrance. Chapter 2. Why everything you see is already you. Look around you. Every face you meet, every event that crosses your path, every synchronicity that startles your heart, none of it is random. The Atlantean crystal mirror reflects only one thing, you. Not the words you speak, not the masks you wear, but the true frequency of your soul. You do not attract what you desire, you attract what you are. Fear echoes fear. Doubt multiplies doubt. Love awakens love. Consciousness calls forth synchronicities. The Atlantean sages taught that reality is a sacred feedback loop. Your vibration leaves your body, travels through the crystalline grid that surrounds the Earth and returns to you magnified. The light body is the transmitter. The mirror of Atlantis is the amplifier. Together, they carve destiny. This is why the world feels alive when you awaken, because the mirror stops reflecting your unconscious shadows and begins reflecting the codes of remembrance hidden in your heart. Every encounter, every challenge, every blessing is your own reflection, folded back into your path by the law of vibration. Nothing is outside. Everything is the echo of your own being. This is the secret thoth whispered in the temples. As within, so without. As above, so below. The mirror never lies. Activation. Write in the comments, I recognize myself in the crystal mirror of Atlantis. I remember who I am. By declaring this, you align your soul's vibration with the field of reflection, and the mirror begins to answer you with clarity, synchronicity, and divine order.
Chapter 3. Synchronicities are not random. Have you noticed it? The numbers repeating on the clock, the message arriving at the exact second you needed it, the stranger crossing your path as if the universe had scripted it. These are not accidents. They are not coincidences. They are Atlantean codes of synchronicity, the language of the crystal mirror whispering back to your awakening soul. Carl Jung gave it a name, synchronicity. But long before Jung, in the temples of Atlantis, the priests of light knew it as the echo of the crystal. Every thought, every vibration, every hidden desire was etched into the crystalline field, and the universe responded with symbols, patterns, alignments. The mirror speaks in synchronicities because words are too small. It speaks in geometry, in repetition, in vibrational frequency. When you are lost, it sends you signs. When you are aligned, it sends you confirmations. When you are ready, it sends you initiations. The body of light is the receiver of these signals. The soul decodes them through intuition. And Thoth, the great Atlantean master, taught that to ignore synchronicities is to ignore your own reflection. Every time you see a repeated number, every time an impossible alignment unfolds before your eyes, remember, you are not witnessing chance. You are witnessing the mirror of Atlantis, proving that reality is alive. These signs are proof that the awakening has already begun. They are the first language of remembrance. They are the crystal whispering, you are exactly where you need to be. Activation. Write in the comments, I follow the synchronicities of Atlantis. The crystal mirror guides my awakening. Each comment is a vow, an alignment with the divine order where synchronicity becomes your compass and the path of your soul unfolds with clarity and power. Chapter 4. The Crystal Temples. In the golden age of Atlantis, vast temples rose like mountains of light. They were not carved from stone, but from living crystal. Walls that shimmered with sacred geometry, halls that vibrated with the resonance of stars, altars that pulsed with the heartbeat of the cosmos itself. The Atlantean priests and priestesses entered these temples not to beg, not to worship, but to command vibration. They knew that every thought was an offering, every emotion a frequency, every word a code etched into the crystal mirror of reality. Inside those chambers, their minds became instruments. Fear, when amplified, could cause storms. Love, when magnified, could heal nations. Intention, when aligned, could bend the timeline of history.
The temples of crystal were the first technologies of awakening. They revealed what we have forgotten, that the world is not solid, but a fluid mirror of light, frequency, and remembrance. And though the seas swallowed Atlantis, the temples were never lost. For they were not merely structures of glass and stone, they were blueprints of consciousness. And that blueprint remains within you. Every heartbeat is a crystal pulse. Every breath is a sacred vibration. Every human soul is a temple of light, waiting to be awakened.
Chapter 5. The Dangerous Forgetting. But then came the fall. The waters rose, the temples of Atlantis sank, and with them the memory of the crystal mirror began to fade. Humanity forgot. We began to believe the lie of separation. We thought the universe was random, that life was blind, that destiny was written by forces outside of us. But the mirror never stopped reflecting. It only obeyed the new signals we sent. We filled ourselves with fear, and the mirror returned storms of chaos. We fed doubt into the crystalline field, and the mirror gave us emptiness and confusion. We believed in limitation, and the mirror carved those chains into the fabric of our lives. The danger was not that the mirror vanished. The danger was forgetting that it was always there. When you live unconscious of your own vibration, the Atlantean Law of Reflection becomes your prison. You mistake your own echo for fate. You fight shadows you yourself have cast. You beg for freedom while holding the chains in your own hands. Thoth warned his initiates, the greatest danger is not darkness. The greatest danger is forgetting the light you already carry. The Crystal Mirror of Atlantis is innocent. It does not punish, it does not reward, it only multiplies. And when humanity fell asleep, our nightmares became our reality. But now, the remembering begins again. The mirror is waiting for you to awaken to your frequency, to polish your inner temple, and to remember the ancient code. Activation. Write in the comments, I remember the mirror of Atlantis. I choose to awaken my soul's reflection. Each word you write is a spark of remembrance, restoring the Atlantean grid of light and divine order within you and within the collective.
Chapter 6. The Holy Reset, the Dark Night of the Soul. And then comes the silence, the moment when the fire that once drove you is extinguished, when goals feel hollow and desires dissolve into dust. To the unconscious, it looks like despair, but to the Atlanteans, it was the beginning of remembrance. They called it the Holy Reset, what we now call the Dark Night of the Soul. It is the stage where the crystal mirror is wiped clean, where every illusion you once carried is erased from the field. It feels like emptiness, but it is sacred emptiness. It feels like death, but it is the death of the false self. It feels like loss, but it is the loss of the chains that bound your soul. Your light body is being recalibrated. Your vibration is being purified. The mirror is clearing itself so that it may reflect the true codes of your awakening soul. This silence is not a punishment. It is preparation. It is the sacred pause between the breath of death and the breath of rebirth. It is the crystal temple entering stillness before igniting with a new flame of divine order. Thoth whispered to his initiates, when you enter the dark night of the soul, rejoice, for it means the mirror is being polished for your remembrance. So if you are here, lying in the silence, feeling that nothing matters anymore, understand this. The Holy Reset, The dark night of the soul is the passage every awakened being must cross. The void is not the end. The void is the sacred womb of your rebirth. Activation. Write in the comments, "I embrace the dark night of the soul. The crystal mirror prepares my rebirth." Each declaration becomes a vibration, transforming emptiness into the fertile soil where the codes of your soul will bloom again.
Chapter 7. The Whisper of the Soul. Out of the holy reset, after the silence, after the dark night of the soul, something begins to stir. Not the roar of ambition, not the pressure of the old ego, but something infinitely more subtle, a whisper. It is the whisper of the soul, the first vibration of your true nature returning, the first pulse of your light body aligning again with the crystal mirror of Atlantis. This whisper does not shout, it does not command, it invites. It moves like a sacred breeze, like a vibration barely felt in the heart, like a memory resurfacing from eternity. You feel the urge to create, not to prove yourself, but because creation feels like breathing. You feel the urge to love, not to possess, but to expand. You feel the urge to serve, not for recognition, but because compassion flows as naturally as light from the sun. This is how the Atlantean codes of remembrance awaken, not with noise, but with subtlety, not with effort, but with resonance. The crystal mirror responds more quickly to these whispers than to any loud demand, because they are pure, aligned, authentic. Thoth taught, "The soul does not speak in commands, but in symbols. Its language is the whisper, its power is the vibration. Those who ignore the whisper remain asleep. Those who follow it awaken." The whisper is not random. It is the frequency of divine order resurfacing in your being. It is the ancient memory of Atlantis still echoing in your DNA, calling you to live in alignment with the truth you once knew. Trust the whisper, for it is the voice of your soul, and the mirror of reality bends to its vibration. Activation. Write in the comments, "I follow the whisper of my soul. The crystal mirror reflects my true awakening." Each comment is a vow, each word a signal, anchoring the codes of remembrance into the collective field of light.
Chapter 8. Reality already responded. Here lies one of the most hidden secrets of the Atlantean priests. Reality is not waiting to respond. It already has. The instant a thought is born, the crystal mirror records it. The vibration leaves your soul like a beam of light, travels through the crystalline grid that surrounds the earth, and returns already crystallized as synchronicity, event, or circumstance. You believe you are creating a future, but in truth, you are only choosing between infinite reflections that already exist in the mirror of divine order. The path is written in light, and every choice of frequency tunes you to a different shard of that crystal. The Atlanteans called this the living reflection. They knew time itself was an illusion, a spiral where all possibilities exist now. And the mirror does not wait. It echoes immediately.
whether your signal is fear or remembrance, shadow or light. This is why awakening can feel like a collapse. When your vibration changes, the reflections of the old self shatter. What you once called life dissolves, and a sacred emptiness opens, not as punishment, but as the clearing that allows a new reflection of your soul to appear. Thoth taught, "The future does not arrive, it is chosen. The mirror does not delay, it responds now." You are not waiting for reality to respond to you. Reality has already responded. The question is, which reflection will you allow to live through you? Activation. Write in the comments, "I choose the higher reflection of my soul. The crystal mirror has already answered." Each word is an alignment, a declaration to the field of remembrance, anchoring your soul in the vibration of awakening and divine order.
Chapter 9. Living Symbolically. The Atlanteans never lived by rigid plans or forced timelines. They walked guided by symbols, synchronicities, and signs from the crystal mirror. For them, life was not a mechanical sequence. It was a sacred dialogue with the soul. To live symbolically is to remember that the universe speaks in codes. Every number that repeats, every dream that feels more real than waking life, every sudden impulse that stirs your light body, all of these are Atlantean messages of remembrance. When you awaken, you realize life is not random. It is communicating with you constantly. The whisper of the soul is translated into synchronicities, into symbols, into sacred patterns appearing in your path. The mirror does not speak in human words. It speaks in geometry, in vibration, in frequency that calls to your heart. That attraction you feel toward a place, that fascination that makes no logical sense, that image that keeps returning to your mind, they are not accidents. They are the codes of Atlantis, reactivating your memory. Thoth taught, "Follow fascination, not obligation." The soul speaks in symbols. Ignore them, and you remain asleep. Honor them, and the mirror opens the path. When you begin to live symbolically, you stop forcing reality and start flowing with the divine order. You no longer chase, you recognize. You no longer beg, you respond. And in that shift, life becomes less about control and more about communion. The mirror is no longer your enemy. It becomes your guide. Activation. Write in the comments, "I live by the symbols of Atlantis. The crystal mirror guides my awakening." Every comment is an act of remembrance, anchoring your soul into the living dialogue of synchronicity, where reality itself becomes your teacher. Chapter 10. The crystal flame awakens. And at last, the hidden truth of Atlantis is revealed. The mirror is not outside of you. It has always been within. Your heart is the crystal chamber. Every beat is a vibration. Every breath is a pulse of light. Every thought is a signal engraved into the mirror of reality. When you awaken, you realize you were never powerless. You were always standing inside the temple of remembrance. Your own light body is the sacred architecture. Your own soul, the eternal priest. Your own heart, the flame of Atlantis, still burning. The crystal flame is not fire that consumes. It is fire that illuminates. It does not destroy. It awakens. It polishes the mirror of your being until only truth remains.
This is the moment of rebirth. After the silence of the dark night of the soul, after the whispers of the soul, after the synchronicity is guiding you step by step, the flame is lit again, not the flame of ego, not the flame of ambition, but the flame of divine order, the eternal spark of your authentic soul. Thoth taught, the fire of the heart is the last temple. When it awakens, the mirror no longer reflects shadows, it reflects eternity. And so the Atlantean code is remembered. You are not chasing the light, you are the light. You are not begging the mirror, you are the flame that makes it shine. The crystal flame is the highest remembrance, the return of your soul to its original vibration, the point where the mirror no longer echoes illusion, but only truth.
Final call. The Crystal Mirror of Atlantis is alive. The journey is not ending, it is beginning. The Crystal Mirror of Atlantis has always been here, watching, reflecting, multiplying every vibration of your soul. Now you know, reality is not against you, it is responding to you. Every synchronicity, every silence, every whisper, every reflection was preparing you for this remembrance. The mirror does not judge, it only obeys. And today you have remembered the ancient law. As you are within, so the mirror reflects without. The question is no longer if reality responds, it always does. The question is, which reflection will you allow to shine through your soul? Activation. Write in the comments, I awaken the Crystal Mirror of Atlantis. My soul is reflected in divine order. Each comment is a sacred act, a vibration engraved in the collective mirror, a signal that we are remembering together. And now, take this remembrance further. Choose one person who is special to your heart, someone whose soul you feel is ready. Share this message with them. Because when you share, it is not just communication, it is activation. It is how the Atlantean code spreads through the grid of souls, one heart awakening another, until the mirror of the earth shines again in full remembrance. This is not about algorithms, this is about the field. Every share is an offering of light, an act of service to the collective awakening. The crystal flame has ignited in you. Now let it ignite in another.